Hey there. Have you experienced unconditional love? Do you know what unconditional love is? If you're like me, then when you think of unconditional love, you probably think of Jesus or God. But I want to tell you right now that unconditional love and God both reside within our heart space. And I want to tell you that we are all connected and we all have God energy within us. And I want to remind you that that makes you very powerful and it makes you very important because you are part of the whole universe. You are a microcosm within a macrocosm. So you have the energy of the whole universe within you. And once you begin to understand that and how powerful your mind is, then it makes it very, very important to have discipline over those thoughts because you realize how they materialize in your reality. So I'd like to encourage you today to unconditionally love yourself enough to imagine your life the way that you know that you deserve it to be, without feeling like you are not enough, without feeling like you have an immense amount of guilt and shame for the things that you've done. Because guilt and shame will only hold us back. It's only by loving and accepting our shadows that's where we can actually see the true transformation of that light from the darkness. So I just want to ask you the question, who do you want to be like? Do you want to be like Jesus, who wasn't afraid to speak to the sinner that approached him, who wasn't afraid to show the sinner the medicine? Or do you want to be like Paul, who was afraid of tainting his own spirit and the spirit of the church? Because we all have things that we have to learn from each other. And we learn these things through mistakes sometimes, and sometimes we learn them through the mistakes of others if we're lucky. But we're here to learn. We're here to grow. We're here to become closer to our divine nature within ourselves. So don't be afraid and stop shaming yourself for things that you've done in the past. And if there are things that you're still doing, then really look at those things. You have the power to change those things. Yes, you have the power to change those things. You get to be whatever you can imagine that you can be. And I'd like to encourage you to imagine your friends in a better place of where they can be. And I'd love for us to just help encourage our growth within each other. So I know there's a lot of guilt and there's a lot of shame in our collective. There's a lot of people who have turned to drugs or alcohol or sex or whatever it is to cope with the stress and the trauma that they've experienced in their lives. And there's no real shame in that, because you at that point were doing the best that you could with what you knew. I'm just here to tell you that those coping mechanisms are not the only ones, and that there are healthier ones. And a big part of it comes from doing your own inner work, your shadow work, dealing with those things in your past that you feel are holding you back. And I want to tell you that you have the power to do that. I want to empower you to know that you can do that. And I sincerely hope and pray that you do. But I also want to encourage you not to throw yourself into someone else's fire to save them. I know how easy it can be when you're struggling to save yourself from that fire, that you think that, I wish I had somebody to save me from my fire. I can't save myself from the fire right now, so I'm going to save who I can from the fire right now. But that ends up getting you burned. But there's a lesson to be learned in that too. The lesson is self-love. The lesson is learning to honor your own energy. And just like Jesus, he didn't let people walk all over him. When the devil tried to tempt him, he called him out on his stuff. And you have the power to do that too. You don't have to, when I say unconditional love, I don't mean that you should put up with unconditional abuse. Sometimes the most loving thing that you can do for somebody is to hold healthy, self-honoring, loving boundaries for your own self and your own energy, and show someone else what that looks like so that they can embody it for themselves, and give them the opportunity to actually do that growth and do that healing work, because you can't do it for anyone else but yourself. Mr. Oliver wants to say hi. Say hi, Oliver. Alright guys, I'm Reiki Master Sharon. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching.